welcome to episode 24 of Sudoku with Tsvetii. We will be doing another medium puzzle, and I hope everyone is doing well. As we get into this medium puzzle, I think Oh, that poor Agatha. She just wants a snack every time I hit record. Every time. Isn't that right, Iggy? Big baby. Okay. As we were saying, honey, you do not need a snack that badly. I can give you a snack afterwards. Okay. Literally fine all day. And then as soon as I hit record, she's all over me trying to ask for a snack. Yeah, you can get in my lap. That's a good girl. Yes, ma'am. Good girl. Yes, I won't forget about your snack, okay? Good girl. Okay. As we were saying, sorry, I had to adjust the microphone. Hope that everyone is doing well. I think the theme for today's episode is perseverance. And the reason being is that we need to keep focusing on finding things that are important to us and striving for them and continuing to make efforts toward our goals, whatever they may be, and whatever area or field they may be. And we just need to keep fighting for what we want, because at the end of the day, no one is going to be fighting those battles for us. So we just have to do them ourselves. Because when I was younger, I kind of had that kind of feeling that I was always going to have someone to help me out. Like, oh yeah, someone will help me out. Something will magically happen by the grace of God. And, I'd be fine. And that didn't work out. And now I'm making Sudoku videos on YouTube. Again, for the second day in a row, the 5s are completed first. Huh. Anyways, little weird, very suspicious, as that's going to be our 6th. We're going to move on. But once again, as I was saying, the moral of today's episode is to stay persistent when you have a goal. Continue to chase it until it's not helpful to you at all. Not when you hit your first setback or anything like that, but when, or like hit the initial wall, when it's no longer fun for a little bit. But just to keep focusing on the goals that you wish for yourself and continue to strive for bigger and better things. Because I would know more than most, I suppose, that it is not fun to just, or it's not rewarding, I think is the better word. It is not rewarding to just come home from work and play video games for a couple hours and then just do it all over again. And so I aspired to change something, and I made slow and gradual efforts, whether it was making silly little Sudoku videos, or simply just trying to experiment and force myself to try something new, even if I was tired, even if I was upset about anything. But just the resilience, that mental resilience, is what I'm preaching today. Because if you can win the battle against yourself, that is 90% of the battle in life, is winning the fight against yourself, whether it may be fear, whether it may be anxiety or anything like that. And of course, we all have different battles that we need to face. Of course, there are several things that you cannot control, whether it's, a disability, a genetic disability, or ulterior factors that are learned habits from your parents or anything like that. You just have to make do with what you got, accept where you are now, and have a vision for where you want to be. And that is the best way to start, is acknowledging that you do want to change, acknowledging that you want to be better or develop a skill. I suppose a little bit under the curtain of Tsvetii is I've begun to work on creating music. I've always enjoyed music. I always love listening to music. I'm I would like to consider myself very creative. And so having that as another outlet for me, along with these Sudoku videos, has been very helpful for me to just have something to strive for. And so it's not just, it's giving meaning to life. And that is, I believe, the best way to do it is that you have to give meaning to your own life. You have to give, give yourself something to fight for, because it'll not always come up. It's not a movie. You can't, see an Avengers level threat on the horizon and say, "Oh boy, this is my time to shine." And for some people, it very well may be like that. And if it's not, like I guess for me, that's fine too. The goal is to find the fight you believe is worth fighting for. And if you can do so in a healthy and a consistent manner, you will see bigger and better results. And that is amazing. So if you are still listening to the Sudoku with Tsvetii podcast right now, around the 6-minute mark or so, consider putting down your most recent W in the chat. And by W, I mean positive story you would like to share, whether it could be losing weight, whether it could be forcing yourself to try something new at a restaurant, forcing yourself to just break those little negative habits that we have and try to strive for bigger and better things. And we are a little bit stuck here, but we will not be stuck for long, I believe. So what is all? Okay, this song has like space stuff in it, and I was like, okay, so this is what I'm thinking. And it goes, Roger 0J, I'm feeling fine, and I'm just like, okay, thanks. But I suppose as we're continuing on here, and then I'll start trying to use my brain to solve this puzzle. Is one of the things that I've started with music is forcing myself to make a minute of music every day. And I know it's nothing, but it's something, and it's getting me in the habit of making music and being in that creative process. We do know this will be a 3, so this will be our 7 or 8, since 7 and 8 are both right there. Okay. Recenter, refocus. Okay. And one of my tracks that I'm working on is called Beksinski. For those of you who are fans of art, it would make sense. Zlatislav Beksinski, I think I was introduced to it through a YouTube video called The Nightmare Artist. And I've always been interested in all the morbid things that come out of like YouTube. Like I love dystopian history. I would put it on to go to bed some nights, and my girlfriend would wake up to like someone talking, just going, and then they were all dead. It's just something that I've always been interested in. It just piques my curiosity. And Beksinski grew up during World War II. And so he was able to pull from that and create beautiful works of art. Although morbid, but beautiful works of art. And I have come to appreciate that art. I even own a copy of one of the arts. Of course, I don't have an original. And that is why I want to go to, I would love to go to Poland at some point, so that I can go to the museum that has most of the original artwork there, because he is a Polish artist. And his story is so tragic when you really think about it. I'm not going to really dive too much into details, but he lived a long life, had children and everything, and was eventually killed by his caretaker's son over $200. And it just makes me sad to think about that, because that sadly probably happens a lot more than you like to think. Anyways, I need to stop yapping. It's been 10 minutes. I've been yapping for 10 minutes. Let's focus on Sudoku for a second. So this could be a 7. That cannot be a 7. That cannot be a 7, but that can be a 7. We are looking over here like... We know 1 has to be here, here. Well, this could be a 1 or a 6, right? Yeah. So this can only be a 1 for 6. This can only be a 3 or a 6. So 2 must be over here, over here. Excuse me. Sorry, Agatha. Excuse me. Sorry for that sneeze. I apologize to you and Agatha, because Agatha jumped out of my lap and flew across the room, and now she is looking at me very concerned. You're okay, girl. Oh, she's wagging her tail. She's fine. Anyway, let's continue on. Yeah, we have the 3s and 9s here, and because we know that 3 has to be here or here in this row and or column. We know 3 has to be there or there. Nothing else can be 3 naturally because everything else is blocked. We do have 6, so we know 6 could be here or here, and then here or here, which is, you know, if we can try to deduce one of these to remove the 6, that would be awesome. I think that goes for the same as 9. Yeah. I mean, what else can this be? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. So this can only be a 7 or 9. And this can only be a 3 or a 9. Which means this cannot be 9. So now 9 has to be one of these two down here. So this can be a 6 or a 7. And then this can be a... This can technically be a 6, 7, or 8. Phooey. So now part of me is thinking that 7 might be right here. But that's just a hunch. There's no logic behind it at all. All right, speaking of 7s, let's just look real quick. Let's see if there's something that we are missing, because there very well could be. Anything with the 8s? We just know 8 has to be up here. And not really much else for a clue for the 8s down here. 9s are about the same. We just know 9 can't be here anymore. Okay. This could technically be a 7, 8. Could also be 7 or 8. What am I doing? What? Okay. I hit the wrong button, sorry. So yeah, that could be a 7 or an 8. We just know these are kind of off limits. Okay, let's just start going through the numbers one more time. So we know 1 has to be here, 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 here. 2s, we know 2 has to be here or here, and then here or here. For our 3s, we know 3s have to be here or here, and then here or here. For 4s, we know that 4 has to be here or here, and then here or here. Okay, so if we said this was 7, I think this is going to end up being 9. But if this were 7, that would have to be a 2, and that could be 4 and 9. Right? Which means that this would have to be an 8. And if that is an 8, 8 has to be here, which means 8 is there, and that would work. Okay. Let's try it with the 9 here. So this would be 9, 4. What? 9, 4, 2, 7. That'd be 6, 2. That could still work for right now. That'd be a 2. Because this is 2. Yeah, 2 would be here. And then 2 would be here naturally. So that's still a feasible option at this point. I'm not trying to go too deep into it because, you know, I'm trying to see what we can do. So if like this were 3, this were 3, 3 would have to be right here. And because this would have to be a 3, we know that's 6, we know that's 9. Which means that's 2, that's 6. I'm at the point where the math ain't mathing to me. I kind of don't want to be like, I kind of don't want to just like throw crap at the wall, hope it sticks. But that's starting to lean where we all might be heading, unfortunately. 4 is just there. 1 is just here or here. Six. No, 6 is here or here. And then 9 is there or there. Okay, let's just go by our column things. We know 3 can only be there or there. 1 can only be there or there. 2s. We know 2 could only be there. Oh crap! That. Oh no, 2 can be here too. I was like, oh wow, that was easy. But yeah, 2 can only be here. And then yeah, here. 3s could be here or here. 3 could be there. That could be 7 technically. So, actually, it can't. Because we know this could only be a 2 or 7, and this could only be a 7 or a 9. No, but then that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, we'll just mark that down for right now. I feel like I was on the right line of thinking, but just terrible execution. Oh, mighty 5s, instill me with your wisdom. Alright. I think I might just try to run with that initial logic I had, with this being 9. My keyboard has started messing up again. Do not know why. Okay. Oh, the number lock is now not working. Okay, there we go. So we're going to say that's a 3. means that would be the 6, and that would be a 7 or an 8, but we would know that is a 2, not a 3, which means that is a 2, which would make that a 7, and that a 6, which would mean this could be a 1 or a 3, which means 3 would be over here, 1 would be here, 4 would be here, 4 would be there. That's incorrect. Okay. So we say this is 7. That'd have to be a 2, 6, 7, 8, 6. All right. Anything brewing at this point? Which means that'd be a 9. That's a 3. Okay. That's 1. That's a 4. It's a 9. 6, 8, 7, 8, 7, 9, 4. Hey, not too bad, not too bad. A little bit long-winded, and a little long at the tooth, but not too bad. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you tomorrow.